Mothers in the Milton Keynes area have today been promised big improvements to local maternity services. The pledge comes after several months of intense criticism about the standard of care.
The official health regulator has now put in place strict conditions on the licence it's given to the NHS Trust. It's one of only 2 hospitals in the whole country to have conditions imposed. In a moment, I'll be speaking to the chief executive, but first, this report from Joe Black.
In Lookie's tonight, a maternity unit condemned as scandalous is threatened with legal action unless it puts its house back in order.
Some expectant mothers say they've lost all confidence.
2 high-profile baby deaths, 2 regulator interventions and an external team sent in to drive through improvements. It's not been a great 2 years for the maternity unit at Milton Keynes Hospital. But today the Care Quality Commission went even further, saying the trust falls short when it comes to providing services under a new, tougher system, so it's imposed conditions on its licence. Those conditions demand further improvements like better planning for emergency situations and the recruiting of more midwives. Women in established labour here must have one-to-one care. That's only a guideline in other trusts, but because of this unit's history, it's now a legal requirement. Today, for the first time since the unit came under fire, we were allowed on to one of the maternity wards. The new parents we spoke to said their experiences had been extremely positive.
I've always had lots of people come in to see me and check me that everything's all right. Obviously there's quite a shift of changeover of different midwives, but they're all really helpful and come as soon as they can to help you. So it's been a few years since I was here last, and my experience this time has been absolutely fine. Really good.
Our experience was excellent, so I wouldn't worry about coming back next year.
Don't know about that.
The hospital says it's doing everything in its power to put things right. But if deadlines are not kept, the regulator could fine or prosecute. It could even close areas down, and that's something no one here wants to see. Joe Black, BBC Look East.
So, will the hospital be facing fines, prosecution or even some closures? A question for Jill Rodney, who's the chief executive of the hospital, when I spoke to her this afternoon.
I think that's highly unlikely to happen. We've had an action plan in place since the CQC visited in September last year. We're putting massive amounts of energy into making sure we can deliver those, and I'm absolutely confident that every deadline will be either met or will be exceeded. So I don't expect to be in a position where anything is closed down.
Your chief executive of NHS Milton Keynes and director of public health said it's particularly pleasing to see that women in Milton Keynes can now expect one-to-one care throughout established labour. Yet the CQC says the trust has not shown sufficient improvement in the management and provision of adequate staffing levels. Those two are at odds. How do you explain that?
I'm not sure that they really are at odds. I think what we're saying is that where we have sufficient numbers of midwives, we provide one-to-one care for those ladies when they're in labour. And if we know that we have a shortage either because of staff sickness or because we are unable to recruit to those posts, we actually work with our partners to make sure that women can be treated and seen elsewhere, and that those ladies who come to Milton Keynes Hospital will be assured that they will receive one-to-one care when they're in labour.
So can you make a promise to us this evening that no woman who comes in to see you will have anything less than one-to-one care in the future?
I can't promise isably, because we can never tell how many people will arise or what emergency may come.
That's the whole point, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's the whole point, isn't it? They say that you haven't planned well enough for those periods of high demand. They ask you to make that commitment, and you say you can't do it.
I'm saying that I will give you my promise that we will be working exceptionally hard to deliver that. My expectation is that if we should be unable to do that, it will be under absolutely exceptional circumstances.
Jill Rodney, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jill Rodney talking to me late this afternoon. If you have a story to tell us about your treatment by the health service, please get in touch. You can phone or you can email.
Lots of sport around this weekend, including hundreds of events for sport relief.
One of them is in Bedford, where Jonathan Park is on the hockey.
That's right, Stuart. Yeah, probably one of the most imaginative ideas for sport relief this weekend. It's taking place here in Bedford, the home of Bedfordshire County Darts. You've heard of running a mile, but what about throwing a mile? I'll tell you more in a few minutes' time. But first, it's also a big weekend for rugby in the region because 3 Northampton Saints players will be starting for England in the Six Nations Championship against France on Saturday. Chris Ashton, Ben Foden and Dylan Hartley are all starting for England, which means they're unavailable for Northampton Saints' game in the final of the Anglo-Welsh Cup. Disappointing for them on that front, but Northampton Saints are playing in this final. It's the first of a possible treble for them, and they're taking it seriously while others haven't this season, but they're definitely in it to win it.
It's a good competition for us, and I think some clubs, you know, they don't put any significance in it and don't worry and send teams who don't really want to win. You know, we do swap our squad around a little bit. We've got players missing, so you have to. But we enter the competition to win it. We want to win every single game. We've managed to do that in this competition, and hopefully we just can go one step further.
Now, coverage of that Northampton Saints game on BBC Radio Northampton on Sunday. Now, if you're a Saints fan, what's the worst shirt you could possibly wear? Probably one of these, a Leicester Tigers shirt. Sarah's here. The shirt of her is another Sport Relief idea. Sarah's a Northampton Saints fan. You're going to put that one on for us, aren't you, to raise some money? How does that feel?
Oh, it's going to be horrible, but I will do it as it's for charity and for Sport Relief.
Well, we'll leave you to get on with that. Let's have a chat to Wayne, who's organising this tonight from Bedfordshire County Darts. Wayne, a great idea, throwing a mile. How does it work out? Give us the stats.
Well, basically, there are 63,360 inches in a mile, and from the oche to the dartboard and back is 186.5 inches, which means that every player has to throw 340 times to achieve their mile.
Glad you remember that. What about the sore arms at the end of it? There's going to be a few, isn't there?
Well, we play to a good standard, so there will be a few sore arms from some of the more relaxed players, but I think we'll be all right on the day.
We've got Sarah here. Look, she's done it for us. Northampton Saints fan wearing a Leicester Tigers shirt. I hope all your friends and all your family can see that. You're raising money, aren't you? You're hoping to get some pledges.
Yeah, hopefully people will donate. Anyone who does actually know me out there, I did put a link on my Facebook last night, so hopefully a few people have donated. I won't be doing this again.
Well, you've done it live on TV. Good for you, and good for everybody else involved in this tonight. And whatever you're doing for Sport Relief this weekend, have fun, and well done. Back to you in the studio.
Jonathan, thank you very much indeed, and don't forget that Sport Relief is on tonight, raising loads of money. It all starts at 7 o'clock, straight after Look East.
Lots of you have been busy across the region today raising money for Sport Relief. Here's just a flavour of what you've been up to.
Run, jump and a throw, and it's to raise money for Sport Relief, and hopefully they'll have fun and have a really good day.
3! 3. Don't try and do the proper ones unless you've been like me, training for a couple of days.
And do we know any little ones who've raised money?
My 4-year-old was running a mile today.
A whole mile?
I'm so very proud of her.
Fantastic.
And we've got lots more going on over the weekend, so looking forward to good weather.
Yes, do the outdoor things on Sunday, probably, if you had a choice, but I know some of you don't have that choice, so let's see.